All right, everybody. Uh, so what I'm gonna do today, I got the tires off. I took the tubes out. Evidently, what had happened is this this driver's side rear had started to tear the tube, and when I noticed was this valve stem was angled like this in the truck, which means the tube had moved and not came back to its original location, so it rolled it, and it was pinching this real bad on the tube, and actually was about to tear. So I took the tubes out of here because these tires actually, Mickey Thompson says they're tubeless and they don't require a tube. I'll show you. I think this is the good one. Okay, that's not the good one. So as you can see, it was starting to tear apart. And I think that was just due to it rolling and not coming back. And everyone said, is there baby powder? But yeah, there was a ton of baby powder on the wheel. It shouldn't have done it, but I mean, they've been in there a while. Well, what I noticed was when I took a little test drive to see how everything was, man, it had a bad vibration. Not a vibration, but a brake grinding sound, and it was audible even in a live video on Facebook. So I put it up on jack stands. It's my first day off work, so I hit the brake pedal, and I don't hear anything in the front. So I'm going to assume, with all that bouncing it was doing, something in the rear bent. I mean, it's pretty smooth, and there's not really any one spot it's catching. That don't necessarily mean it's not warped. It's just I can't hold the brake pedal against it and see what's going on. In the rear, there's not like any huge amount of slop, and it spins free when I put it in gear. I don't really feel a catch or a hard spot. And these Wilwood brakes are a fixed rotor. So with that fixed rotor, if the rotor warped, obviously that's going to cause pulsating brake pedal and a bunch of roaring when you're driving down the road, because it's actually oscillating the brake pads a lot. So what I'm going to do today is take the tires loose and start looking for the cause of the drag, and make sure that it's in the rear. I'm going to just start the truck and put it in gear and hold my foot on the brake and feel it drag. Obviously, if I can hear noise and feel the pedal, I know it ain't the front, and I highly doubt it's the front. But I'm going to start it and then put it in gear. For one, I'll watch for a wobble. Two, I'll feel the pedal and make sure that it is in the rear before I take the tires off. So I'm going to do that now. Start this thing up. It's ice cold, so it's might take it a minute to want to stay running. Got a new steering wheel. Got rid of the aluminum. Went with a quick release. Just Jegs quick release and a Grant wheel. gonna let it warm up just for a second, because that. Hear any brake noise. There. Try to spin it a little quicker. Get this thing up into third. Something definitely going on. I don't wheel that needed all the wheel weight. And that wheel's pretty smooth. That left side has got one hell of a wobble. So I'm going to start there, investigating the rear end, making sure everything on this side is good. I'm thinking maybe that wheel's just that far bent because it did need a lot of wheel weights versus the other side, which took very minimal. That tire could have a broken belt. That would cause the vibration going down the road. But what the noise I was hearing on video, if you look at the live video that was the most recent that I downloaded from Facebook, you can physically hear it like on the video grinding, and that was the brakes. And the brakes were pulsating too. What's weird now, just that little bit of driving in first and third, I don't feel a pulsating brake. Now maybe that's because it's not on the ground. I don't know. Maybe there's something in these fronts causing it. Even though they're smooth, front brakes can still oscillate. So, I mean, anything is possible here. I got a new brake hose that's actually pulling in right now. FedEx backing in the driveway, coming to bring me some new brake hoses. So I'll go grab those real quick and then I'll restart this video. Jigs. There goes FedEx. See you later, FedEx. Even during a pandemic, you still get 2-day shipping from Jigs in the state of Ohio. That's not too bad. I don't know if there's any big part suppliers in Florida that deliver like that. I hope so. Jigs is a pretty big place. Let's see what we got. So, should be some Wilwood brake fluid. Might be Jigs. Can't remember which one I bought. It's a high temp .3. Got some new speed bleeders. I'm gonna put them in since I'm changing the brake lines. I got the S10 early 82 to 91. Did a year change in 91. They went away from the mounts on the calipers, probably changed. Frame mount might be different. So, brake fluid. Wilwood. That's what I use. It's just a high temp .3, but it's got a higher boiling point. I don't know what the boiling point is on standard .3, but this stuff seems to work good for me. And I didn't really want to mix it Even mixing dot threes, I'm not a big fan of mixing brands or types, heat ranges, shit like that. As you can tell, I already had a little bit, but probably gonna lose some when I change these hoses. Now there is a slight chance these hoses do look kind of corroded, and I was thinking maybe the front lines were part of the problem. So to eliminate that chance, I'm gonna go ahead and change the brake hoses. You don't get a good, can't really see, but these brake hoses, they're kind of old. So just a preventative, a little bit of maintenance, I'm just gonna replace them with braided stainless. I'm not really doing it for any other reason, just to make sure that that's not the problem. I don't see no kinks. I don't see no leaks right away that would have caused the brake pedal pulsating. So I'm gonna put the camera down and get to work. I'm gonna take this side loose. Really hoping it ain't the wheel, but we'll see. Something in there's wobbling. I'm thinking with that wheel being as out of balance as it was, I really feel like it might have bent that axle. The bent axle would drag that rotor because it's going to move the hat around. So I think the way I'm going to test this theory is pull the tire and wheel, bolt the lugs back on, start it back up, put it back in gear, and watch the physical rotor. I could also mount a dial caliper and test run out off the rear end housing. Just test the rotor itself on the end just by turning it by hand real slow. And I could also test the hat same way, and then I could take that off, take the brake off, and test the axle itself. If the axles are bent, I'm gonna pull them both, and I'll have to send them off to Moser to get 2 new copies. I have no clue what the measurements are, and it's probably just easier to take them to Moser or send them to Moser. They're only 3 hours away. But I'll stop this here, take this apart, and I'll let you know what I find. So evidently, all them weights on this wheel didn't like my brake caliper. For the first time ever, my brake calipers hit that. Pad wise, nothing looks bad, but it absolutely ripped every single weight off that they just put on to balance it. So, needless to say, I gotta go through again and get this done. And by the looks of it, I don't know if that ring wear is normal. Like, this is normal. This looks embedded, like it was loose. So this wheel might have been hung up when I bolted it on. And that might have been the pulsating brake, so wish me luck that it wasn't the axle. It's crazy.
One more day of satisfactory employment, and the entire Blitz staff will be off probation for the first time since 2005. Someone's gonna get a gift card.
Get something to scrub all this glue off. So I guess I'll pop this caliper loose. Try to get something to get this glue out of here. I might get lucky and just use a Crazy. Now I'll have to inspect the other side because it has weights too. Make sure they didn't get it yanked out of there. So it looked good. So it's just this side that had all the weight stacked up. Evidently that stacking was too much because pretty sure that's gotta be it. Rod ends are all tight. There's no loose rod ends. So that wouldn't be the cause of a vibration. I'm gonna bolt this hat down, a couple lugs on it, and see how this rotor looks, if it's running straight and true or bouncing around. Cat, can I help you? All right.
It's your kitty helper.
Yeah, right in my way. Am I your bed? I don't even like cats. Hi.
She likes you.
You want help? You put your paws to work. Yeah. You do that right there. Yep, that's how you do it. I'm gonna scare you. I'm gonna scare you. Told you. Good enough. Put the gear, see what we see. I think that's all the pieces of brake, wheel mount and stuff. There's nothing else. Yeah, that should be good.
Your Rock Station 99.7 Blitz, Rage Against the Machine goes on parade for Hilliard Hall for units right.
The axle bent. See the rotor moving up and down? It wasn't there. You look. It's hard to see on that side. Oh yeah, it's definitely been. Use that light and look in the caliper. You'll see it
I
plain
know,
as
I
day.
see it. I can see the thing right here.
Yeah, you can see it getting open and closed, open and closed. Yeah, it's actual thing.
Dang it.
You bent the axle.
I was trying to see where the other weights were.
I think all the other weights hit the road.
No, on the other side.
No, they're not touching because they
They're
didn't
not.
stack them.
Oh.
That wheel had the weight stacked on top of each other, and that's what hit the caliper. They can't stack them. Well, that's some bad news. So, for one, my freshly balanced wheels, the one that stacked the weights on the caliper, done ripped them all off. The axle is most likely bent, which means that wheel being that far out of balance or out of round, what have you, where's where it tore them all loose. Brand new wheels, tore them all and ripped them. Didn't really hurt the wheel, just kind of was grinded on the where they were stacked on the caliper just a hair. Honestly, it wasn't that bad, like very minimal grinding. Kind of pushed the weights out of the way, really. So it didn't really hurt the wheel. But my worry is the wheel's out of balance, wheel's out of round, and it's causing a hell of a lot of force because of the size of the tire and the size of the wheel, which is probably what bent the axle. So looks like this thing's going to be down probably most of the summer, all the summer, next year, year after, I don't know. But I'm going to go back. I got to take these axles out. When I get money, I'll go to Mosier and get new axles. I love these Mosier axles. These axles are probably 24 years old, and that's the first time I've ever had any issues out of these axles. So I definitely got my use out of them. And there's no sense in paying $200 for one axle when I can get a pair of 35 spline brand new for $330, $350. So we'll run them up, tell them to match them up, make the same set. Sometimes Mosier, when they're not busy, I don't know what's going on with the COVID-19 crap, but sometimes they'll actually make your axle while you wait. We had to do that with Garrett's Blazer. We went up there with the axle that was too short and told them we needed an axle about an inch longer, and while we waited, they made us a longer axle and paid and came back home. 3.5 hour drive from there to here, but it was a good road trip. Fixed it and got the right axle. So I might run these up to Mosier, tell them what happened, and have them make me a longer set. I absolutely can't fault Mosier at all. I mean, that's 100% my fault for that wheel being out of round and the vibration bending that axle. And that wasn't race use. That was just, that happened when I was driving it to work and back. That vibration got real violent when that tube rolled, and it just started throwing everything around. I mean, it was bad enough that I didn't want to drive a truck home. I thought about having it towed. In hindsight, probably when that vibration started is when that axle bent the worst. And it was already too late at that point. You're not going to bend an axle back into being straight. So the other downside is, well, not only am I going to have to buy axles, but with that wheel most likely was the cause of the problem, I got to buy wheels. And if I'm going to go through the hassle of buying new wheels, I want more tire options. So I want to get 15 by 12 wheels, which means, guess what? Now I need new tires. And that's going to be a lot more expensive. It's a whole lot of money that I don't have to blow on this truck. So most likely, it's going to be a while before I even bother. I'm probably just going to bolt that tire back on and put this thing on the ground and get 100% of my focus onto the Blazer, because if we can get that done this year, at least we'll have something with a whole lot of fun. Everything on that's new, 100% ready to rock and roll. Get that turbo kit done, get everything finalized, get all the wiring nests finished, and I guess you'll be seeing a lot of Blazer videos in the near future, because that's going to be where all my focus is at, trying to get that done and at least have one fun vehicle this summer and get it done also before we move, because I'm trying to put the Blazer down to Florida in one piece and not in millions of boxes of parts. So that's 10's on the back burner until some money finds its way to me. Don't know how that's going to happen. But probably I'll start with Mosier. And while I'm at Mosier, I'll have them, I'm sure they've got a way to chuck that axle up and check the run out on the axle tube the right way to guarantee me that that axle is bent. And I'll look and see if anybody in Columbus can do that with the axle out of the truck and make sure that the axle tube is actually straight and not just the axle flange. So I'll have that checked. While I'm there, I'm gonna most likely just bent the flange and there's nothing I can do about it, but we'll go from there, I guess. So for now, this might be the last S10 video you see for a while, and we'll start on the other project. Thanks for watching. Bye.